So I think a lot of people look at a brilliant person such as yourself and are curious about the intellectual journey they've took. Is there maybe three books, technical, fiction, philosophical, that had a big impact on your life that you would recommend perhaps others reading?
Yeah. So I actually didn't read that much as a kid, but I read fairly voraciously now. There are some recent books that, if you're interested in this kind of topic, like AI Superpowers by Kai-Fu Lee is just a fantastic read. You must read that. Yuval Harari is just, I think that can open your mind.
Sapiens.
Sapiens is the first one. Homo Deus is the second. Yeah. We mentioned The Black Swan by Taleb. I think that's a good sort of mind opener. I actually, so there's maybe a more controversial recommendation I could give.
Great.
Well, I
We
don't know.
love controversy.
In some sense, it's so classical it might surprise you. But I actually recently read Mortimer Adler's How to Read a Book. Not so long. It was a while ago. But some people hate that book. I loved it. I think we're in this time right now where, we're just inundated with research papers that you could read on archive with limited peer review and just this wealth of information. I don't know. I think the passion of what you can get out of a book, a really good book or a really good paper, if you find it, the attitude, the realization that you're only going to find a few that really are worth all your time. But then once you find them, you should just dig in and understand it very deeply, and it's worth marking it up and having the hard copy, writing in the side notes, side margins. I think that was really I read it at the right time where I was just feeling just overwhelmed with really low quality stuff, I guess. And similarly, I'm giving more than three now. I'm sorry if I've exceeded my quota.
But on that topic, just real quick, is so basically finding a few companions to keep for the rest of your life in terms of papers and books and so on. And those are the ones, like not doing, FOMO, fear of missing out, constantly trying to update yourself, but really deeply making a life journey of studying a particular paper, essentially, a set of papers.
Yeah, I think when you really find something which a book that resonates with you might not be the same book that resonates with me, but when you really find one that resonates with you, I think the dialogue that happens, and that's what I loved that Adler was saying. I think Socrates and Plato say the written word is never going to capture the beauty of dialogue, right? But Adler says no. A really good book is a dialogue between you and the author, and it crosses time and space. And I don't know. I think it's a very romantic. There's a bunch of like specific advice which you can just gloss over, but the romantic view of how to read and really appreciate it is so good.
Yeah.
And similarly, teaching. I thought a lot about teaching, and so Isaac Asimov, great science fiction writer, has also actually spent a lot of his career writing nonfiction, right? His memoir is fantastic. He was passionate about explaining things, right? He wrote all kinds of books on all kinds of topics in science. He was known as the great explainer. And I do really resonate with his style and just his way of talking about, by communicating and explaining to something is really the way that you learn something. I think about problems very differently because of the way I've been given the opportunity to teach them at MIT. And have questions asked, the fear of the lecture, the experience of the lecture, and the questions I get and the interactions just forces me to be rock solid on these ideas in a way that I didn't have that, I don't know, I would be in a different intellectual space.
Also, video. Does that scare you that your lectures are online and people like me in sweatpants can sit sipping coffee and watch you give lectures? That
I think it's great. I do think that something's changed right now, which is, you know, right now we're giving lectures over Zoom. I mean, giving seminars over Zoom and everything. Um, I'm trying to figure out. I think it's a new medium.
do you think
I'm
it
trying
has
to figure out how to exploit it.
possibilities? Yeah, I've been I've been quite cynical about human to human connection over that medium, but I think that's because it's hasn't been explored fully. And teaching is a different thing.
Every lecture I'm sorry, every seminar, even I think every talk I give, is an opportunity to give that differently. I can deliver content directly into your browser. You have a WebGL engine right there. I can throw 3D content into your browser while you're listening to me, right?
Yeah.
And I can assume that you have at least a powerful enough laptop or something to watch Zoom while I'm doing that, while I'm giving a lecture. That's a new communication tool that I didn't have last year, right? And I think robotics can potentially benefit a lot from teaching that way. We'll see. It's going to be an experiment this fall.
It's interesting.
I'm thinking a lot about it.
Yeah, and also like the length of lectures or the length of like there's something so like I guarantee you, it's like 80% of people who started listening to our conversation are still listening to now, which is crazy to me. But so there's a patience and a interest in long form content, but at the same time there's a magic to forcing yourself to condense an idea to as short as possible like clip. It can be a part of a longer thing, but like just like really beautifully condense an idea. There's a lot of opportunity there that's easier to do in remote with, I don't know, with editing too. Editing is an interesting thing. Like what most professors don't get when they give a lecture, don't get to go back and edit out parts, like crisp it up a little bit. That's also, it can do magic. Like if you remove like 5 to 10 minutes from an hour lecture, it can make something special of a lecture. I've seen that in myself and in others too, because I edit other people's lectures to extract clips. It's like there's certain tangents that are like they're not interesting. They're mumbling. They're not clarifying. They're not helpful at all. And once you remove them, it's just, I don't know. Editing can be magic.
Take a lot of time.
Yeah, it depends like what is teaching. You have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I find the editing process is also beneficial as for teaching, but also for your own learning. I don't know if have you watched yourself on
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Have you watched those videos?
I mean,
Could
not
be,
all of them.
it could be painful.
Yeah.
And to see like how to improve.
So do you find that I know you segment your podcast? Do you think that helps people with the attention span aspect of it, or is it
segment like sections like
yeah, we're talking about this topic, whatever?
Nope, that just helps me. It's actually bad. So and you've been incredible. So I'm learning. Like I'm afraid of conversation. This is even today. I'm terrified of talking to you. I mean, it's something I'm trying to remove from myself. There's a guy. I mean, I've learned from a lot of people, but really, there's been a few people who's been inspirational to me in terms of conversation. Whatever people think of him, Joe Rogan has been inspirational to me because comedians have been too. Being able to just have fun and enjoy themselves and lose themselves in conversation, that requires you to be a great storyteller, to be able to pull a lot of different pieces of information together, but mostly just to enjoy yourself in conversations. And I'm trying to learn that. These notes are, you see me looking down, that's like a safety blanket that I'm trying to let go of more and more.
Cool.
So that people love just regular conversation. That's what the structure is like, whatever. I would say I would say maybe like 10 to like, so there's a bunch of, you know, there's probably a couple thousand PhD students listening to this right now, right? And they might know what we're talking about. But there is somebody, I guarantee you right now, in Russia, some kid who's just smoked some weed, is sitting back and just enjoying the hell out of this conversation, not really understanding. He kind of watched some Boston Dynamics videos. He's just enjoying it. And I salute you, sir. No, but just like there's so much variety of people that just have curiosity about engineering, about sciences, about mathematics, and also like I should that I mean enjoying it is one thing, but I also often notice inspires people to. There's a lot of people who are like in their undergraduate studies uh, trying to figure out what to pursue, and these conversations can really spark the direction of their life. And in terms of robotics, I hope it does because I'm excited about the possibilities of what robotics brings.